Hi and hello to everyone watching this right now. This is me, Vishnuram, and I'm here today with the first chapter of the textbook Hornbill, the English textbook for class 11th. The chapter's name is The Portrait of a Lady, written by Khushwant Singh. Khushwant Singh, he is an Indian author. Apart from an author, he was a lawyer, a diplomat, a journalist, and a lot of things. During that partition of India in 1947, that particular incident of history inspired him to write the novel The Train to Pakistan, which earned him a lot of fame and a lot of readers and fans. He became famous in this field of work, literature. Through the chapter, Khushwant Singh actually gives an autobiographical account of his own grandmother. Through the chapter, actually he paints, or you can say he draws a portrait of his grandmother. That much minute detailing of his own grandmother. The emotional attachment. We all have grandmothers and grandparents, of course. And we have a special kind of attraction or kind of emotional attraction towards our grandparents. They have, what do you say? People say that 6 and 60s, they are almost same. When we were kids, when we were really kids, think about visiting your grandparents' house or grandparent visiting your house. Man, that's a kind of a great feeling. Means, it's a special relation. You have a divine relation you have with your grandparents. This story gives an idea what kind of an emotional attachment Khushwant Singh had with his own grandmother. Let's get into the chapter. In the first part of the lesson, we could see that how much in detail the author describes his grandmother. He says she's having wrinkles all over the body, white locks of hair, grey hair or white hair, you can say that because she's too much old. It says that she's always bent towards friend. She could not walk straight. She always have her one hand on the hip, okay, so that she could balance her, and the other hand will be having a rosary, always she is having chants in her lips, always moving in prayers. You know what? How much in detail he's describing. Think about your grandparents, your grandmother, your grandfather. Think about their physical appearance. The same like author's grandmother. We will be able to describe them. Here he says about a picture on the mantelpiece, a picture of grandfather. He says that he is too much old. He looks like more than 100 years old. It's hard to believe that he once had a wife or children. That much old. And even grandmother, it says that she is a picture of contentment, peacefulness. She looked like a mountain of snow. Like she's having that much because she was wearing white saris, and her hair is almost completely white in color. Her face is pale. So it was a scene of peacefulness for the author. Even for us also, like grandmother, when we, grandmothers are a symbol of peace actually. Because according to me, my grandmother, oh my God. After giving a detailed description of the physical appearance of the grandmother, Khushwant Singh takes us to the emotional part. especially describing how closer he was in his childhood with his grandmother. In his childhood, Khushwant Singh and his grandmother, they lived together in the village, where his parents were in the city. Every day, every morning, he was like, his grandmother wakes him up for the school. She got him ready for the school. She makes breakfast, especially Khushwant Singh talks about the stale chapati with little butter and sugar spread over it. Guys, try it at home, okay? It's really good. A chapati with butter and sugar spread over it, and roll it up and eat. It's a good breakfast actually. So this was his breakfast, and she used to have more stale chapatis with her for another reason. We'll come to that. But at that moment, every morning, she used to make him ready for the school, and she used to clean up his wooden slate and chalk pieces maybe, and his reed pen and wooden ink pot. So this ink pot and all, so you know what, think about it, it's like past in the history. And in this one, like wooden slate, if you ask your parents about wooden slate, maybe they'll say, yeah, we used it. Of course, I used it. I don't think whether you have used it or not, but that's that's a great feeling. We had wooden slates. You know, we had some locally available shrubs and all. We used to rub it over the slate to clean it up. Nostalgic feeling. Anyway, she used to bundle up all these educational things. Like we have books and all now. He had slates, reed pen, and ink pots and all. So she used to bundle it up and give it to him. And both of them actually travel together to the school. Not like grandmother is also studying in his class. No. She used to take him to the school. Talking about the school was attached to the temple, where priest used to teach the children. Mostly like prayers and alphabet. But I used to ask every class, when I step into the class, I'll ask how many alphabets are there in English. The funniest answer is, sir, 26. Some people say 20, 29. Some people even say 53. Yeah. But the funniest part is, English is having only one alphabet. One alphabet of 26 letters. So anyway, this priest used to teach the children alphabet and some prayers, morning prayers. Regarding morning prayers, in the house also, grandmother used to sing prayers in a belief that my grandchild, Khushwant Singh, will learn something. But Khushwant Singh used to love her songs, love her prayers, because her voice was that much sweet, according to him. But he never cared about learning by hearting those chants or those music or those prayers. As the children are taking lesson from the priest, grandmother will be like sitting inside the temple reading some holy books like Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita or something else. She will be reading some kind of holy books. And after the school, both of them return home together. When they come back, near the entrance itself, like entrance of the temple itself, a lot of stray dogs, they gather up. So those stale chapatis, more stale chapatis packed and taken with her by grandmother. This is the reason. She actually used to feed these stray dogs. Both of them, together, they used to feed the stray dogs. Now you got a clear idea of how is that grandmother. Khushwant Singh and his grandmother, they were actually like good friends. As this going on, his parents took them to the city. Both of them, like grandmother and Khushwant Singh, both of them were taken to the city. And Khushwant Singh started going to an English school where she couldn't accompany. Like in the village, she used to go with him to school, but in the city, school bus used to come to take Khushwant Singh to school. And there were no street dogs, so she couldn't feed the dogs. So she started feeding the sparrows. As the days go by, the talking terms, like the time they spent to each other, Khushwant Singh and his grandmother, it came reduced. And sometimes she used to ask what exactly the teachers are teaching at school. And she doesn't have any belief, or she didn't like the way of teaching or what they teach at school. Because according to her, God, religious scriptures should be taught in school. But they were not taught in English medium schools. And she hated English and science. Man, English. She hated English. And grandmother, once she was told that they started teaching him music at school. It's a good thing, right? But according to grandmother, to learn music was like not gentle thing. Okay, according to her, gentlefolk never learned music. Music is meant for beggars and prostitutes, according to grandmother. She hated that particular idea of teaching students music. When our narrator, Khushwant Singh, he went to university for higher education as he grew up, the bond between grandmother and himself, it got stretched out. There was a big gap between their mind, their relationship. And she became too much lonely, she became too much silent. She started living inside herself. She will daily common routine, daily it happens again and again. Every day she does the same job, kind of spinning the wheel for making, spinning wheel, you know that, right? We say that charka and all. Okay, so the same thing. So she used to spin the wheel, and she used to pray a lot. Afternoon she used to take a little bit break. Then she actually started feeding sparrows. She'll tear up a piece of bread into small bits and throw it to the sparrows. Hundreds of sparrows used to come to her. They'll sit on her, like literally on her shoulder, head, legs and all, without any fear. She never frightened them. It was her best moments of her life. She enjoyed a lot. That half an hour or 1 hour of feeding the sparrows, it meant a lot to her. After a few years, Khushwant Singh, he decided to go abroad for his higher studies for a period of 5 years. And grandmother was that much old. Maybe he felt that maybe this will be the last moment I'll be sharing with grandmother, because I'm going abroad. She may not live that much long till I come back. That much old she was. Khushwant Singh expected a lot, but she didn't talk too much. She just gave a kiss on his forehead, and Khushwant Singh felt this will be most probably the final physical contact between them. And he went abroad. After 5 years, when he came back, she was there at the station for receiving him. She was not a day older. That's a particular thing he felt. That's a particular feeling he had. She was not a single day older. She was just as the same when he left his hometown 5 years back. There also she didn't talk too much. She didn't talk to anything. She just hugged him and they went back to home. She was just telling the beads of her rosary and she was praying. She was murmuring some chants. Guys, as I told you, she didn't talk to the author, even the author, that day. She went on praying, chanting, and telling the beads of her rosary. In the afternoon, as usual, she went to feed the sparrows. After feeding the sparrows, in the evening, a strange thing happened. She forgot to pray. It was quite unusual. She forgot to pray. She summoned all the neighborhood women. Somehow she managed to find a old drum and she started playing it, thumping the drum and singing. And it was uncontrollable. So everyone pursued her. Actually, everyone came and physically stopped her doing that because it was like she was not stopping at all. So that day gone like that. The next day she fall ill. It was a mild fever, and she said she understood that it was her end. So she felt maybe she felt it was a waste of time to talking to each other. So she started praying and murmuring her chants and telling the beads of the rosary. After a few minutes or after some hours, her lips, her pale lips, they stopped. They stopped moving. Her fingers were like reading the pearls, reading the beads of the rosary. It stopped. The rosary fell off from her fingers. She was dead. Yeah, guys, she was dead. No more chanting, no more prayers, no more telling beads. Grandmother is no more. She was lying without any movement. They brought a wooden stretcher. They took her body to the courtyard. There, near her body, thousands of sparrows came. Thousands of sparrows. They didn't chirp. They didn't twitter. They didn't make a single sound. Every sparrows, they stood still near her dead body. Everyone around the house, they felt sorry for the birds. Narrator's mother, she brought some pieces of bread. She threw it to the sparrows. No sparrows touched a single piece of bread. Then they took the body away outside. Sparrows, they flew away. Evidently, to be with the proof, we can say that those sparrows, they came to give her a homage, give her a respect, a last few seconds they want to spend with that grandmother. That was a love and relation they had with the grandmother. Evidently, we can say that those sparrows which were present around the body, around the dead body of the grandmother, they came there not for food. They came there to mourn for the grandmother. Like they had an invisible emotional relationship between those sparrows and grandmother. They wanted to pay the last respect, a last salute to the grandmother. Here, the chapter ends. And Khushwant Singh, as an author, he succeeded to draw a reader to the emotional aspects of his own autobiographical depiction of his grandmother and the relation. He was a successful author. He is. This is what the portrait of a lady says. From start to end, it was painting. He was painting his grandmother with words. What a wonderful title and wonderful story. So guys, this is the end of the chapter. Till I come back with another chapter, it's bye from Vishnu Ram. Take care, stay safe.